Today, I want to talk about why leaving does not automatically heal betrayal trauma. A lot of people will even leave comments on my videos saying just leave as if that were an answer to how to end the pain. Leaving might be the right decision. It might remove you from ongoing deception or manipulation or repeated harm, but leaving changes your circumstances. It doesn't change you instantly. You can leave the relationship and still replay what happened, compare yourself to the other person, question whether any of the relationship was real, feel humiliated, feel rejected, feel discarded, miss the person who hurt you, feel that attachment is still there, fear that you'll never trust anyone again. And you might even feel worse for a period of time because the practical crisis is over and your mind finally has room to feel everything that has been surviving up until that point. And so missing them doesn't mean that leaving is a mistake. But my main point here is just to emphasize that leaving by itself does not fix everything. It does not heal everything. So for example, leaving a burning house that's on fire gets you away from the fire. But if you got burned on your way out, you still need treatment for that. Because when it comes to betrayal trauma, it's not just attached to the person. Things like different memories, places, songs, dates, the idea of being intimate with someone, certain words or behaviors, your beliefs about yourself and relationships, all of these can become triggers that activate those deeper wounds. And even if you leave, your nervous system might still be responding as if that threat was still present. So a delayed text from someone new could mean, in your mind, to your body, this all happening again. A partner just setting their phone down versus face up could trigger suspicion. Someone just wanting a little bit of privacy and time alone might feel like the beginning of another double life. The body carries a lot of wisdom in it, but it also carries a lot of outdated beliefs and ideas as well. In your body, you might not feel like you truly understand that you're in a new situation with a new person and that things are different now. But the deepest wounds aren't even associated to the new partner, the new relationship. It might be the questions that you're asking yourself still deep down, like, how did I not know? Or how could they have actually done that? Or why did I stay as long as I did? Was I naive? Am I naive? Can I trust my judgment? What is wrong with me that this happened to me? Those are not relationship-based questions. Those are wounds to your own self-worth. Those are wounds to how you see yourself. Another big component here is that just by leaving, you might never receive real closure, like a full explanation or full accountability, an admission that matches what you already know. A lot of people leave while still carrying an unfinished story. And your mind really doesn't like incomplete stories, so it might keep returning to them. Or it might leave you with a lot of fear. Fear that everyone eventually cheats, or fear that love is not really real, or that you can't afford to relax. As far as practical advice, I would love to just say, first, you need to separate two questions out. Number one, was leaving the right decision? And two, have I healed from what happened? Because I think a lot of times we take the aspects of ourselves that haven't healed as evidence that leaving was the wrong decision. The answer to the first question can be a resounding yes, while the answer to the second is still not yet, or I'm on my way. So please, 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 if you got out of a toxic situation, do not use your current pain as evidence that leaving was a bad decision. And maybe this way is helpful to think of it. Leaving isn't going to heal anything, but it prevents new injuries, and it gives you the time and space to be able to actually tend to those wounds. Now that you are out, it's time to heal. So ask yourself what part of what happened still feels unfinished and like it needs addressing. What emotions keep returning? What conclusions did I make about myself because of the betrayal? What am I still waiting for them to say or do? And what part of that can I do for myself or get from other people? And I really invite everyone after a painful breakup and betrayal to investigate their feelings of self-worth. No matter how confident you are and act and feel, it is very common for there to be a wound here. And it might not even be about you versus the other person. But there's oftentimes a belief that if I had done something different or been a little bit different as a person, then this wouldn't have happened to me. They would have seen my value and this would have never happened. And so ask yourself what you believe about your attractiveness, your intelligence, your lovability, your age, your adequacy, because there can be beliefs that are shaken up along the process that go unaddressed for a long time. So I really do invite everyone to ask themselves those types of self-worth related questions. And a big part of healing after leaving a relationship is allowing yourself to grieve not just the relationship that you had, but also the future. I think this part gets missed a lot. Give yourself permission to mourn what was supposed to happen, what you'd been working for that got pulled out from under you. Might include holidays, retirement, children, shared friendships, a home, or just the sweet expectation of being able to grow old together. And grief becomes confusing when the person is still alive. There is no funeral, but allowing yourself to be sad and even building some ritual of saying, this is over, like that is dead, imagining it like you are attending a funeral, can be very helpful. And then if you've left and you're struggling with closure, please try to find ways to create closure for yourself that doesn't depend on them. Because if they were willing to do this to you and they weren't willing to do the steps to repair, it is less than a 1% chance that they will ever give you a confession, explanation, remorse, or apology that you do deserve. You deserve those things, but you're not going to get them from them. So do not allow your healing to get tied up into their emotional maturity or lack thereof. Closure looks like two things at the same time. It's, on the one hand, you making peace with the bigger picture of being okay with having your reality not validated by them. And then the second piece is doing the work to actually validate that reality to yourself. I recommend writing out on a Google Doc or Word doc or by hand the full story and trusting yourself that your perception of it is accurate. And when you're not completely sure of why they did it here, what their motives were there, or you're not exactly sure how many times something may have happened, just fill in the detail. Give your best guess for now. You can go back and change it later if you want, but just go ahead and try to fill in all the gaps that you're asking about. Give yourself an answer to all the questions you want to ask them and see how it feels. My guess is that you are going to be right on 99% of those guesses anyway. And for the 1% where you might end up being wrong, it doesn't make a difference because the point of the exercise is to trust yourself, and you don't have to be 100% accurate to be able to trust yourself. And then as you move forward, examine what you're carrying with you. My guess is that you don't want to be someone who is suspicious of everyone, but you also don't want to be someone who just returns to a blind trust. So consider what boundaries, standards, warning signs matter the most to you. Turn this pain into discernment rather than just permanent on-guardedness. A funny metaphor here. It's kind of a silly example, but I mentioned like the house being on fire earlier. I don't think that healing when it comes to trust means that you're removing the smoke detector. I think that it means that you stop it from going off every time that you make toast. You want it to be there, but you want to just make sure that it's adjusted to the appropriate levels. And so yes, leaving can be the beginning of healing, but is not the same thing as healing. It really just removes the source, creates space. But the deeper wounds of grief, self-doubt, emotional associations, fear, loss of self-trust, loss of self-worth, those might remain unless they're addressed directly. So just leave is incomplete advice. It answers the question around the environment that is ideal to heal and thrive in, but it doesn't actually dive into any of the emotional recovery work. You have to start asking yourself not just how do I get away from the person who hurt me, but also how do I stop carrying what they did into the rest of my life? How can I let this not permanently change who I am in ways that I'm not in control over? It's going to change you, but you have some will as far as which directions it will nudge you.